treatment for women.
Equal treatment for women, except when getting charged with a crime.
What?
Well, men generally get harsher prison sentences than women. That's not fair.
Okay.
Equal treatment for women, except when getting charged with a crime, and when playing sports and fighting. Well, men and women shouldn't play sports together because men are physically stronger than women. It's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Equal treatment for women, except when getting charged with a crime and playing sports and fighting, and paying for dinners and buying drinks and getting drafted into the military and doing dirty jobs. Okay, guys, I got a better idea. Let me just 1 second.
Treat us like women. Treat us like women. Treat us like women.
Who has it harder, men or women?
It's men by a mile in every
Really, you
arena.
would truly believe that?
In every arena of life, they have it harder. I can tomorrow be unemployed, and there will be a man in my life at some point that will say, I'll look after you, whether that's my dad, my brother, or my partner. Somebody will say, a man can absolutely hate his job, hate his appearance, have terrible relationships with his family, and not one person, no one's coming, no one's saving him. And
Nobody.
It's
all up to
heartbreaking.
him.
Yeah, because one thing I've noticed is, for me personally, if I'm forcing myself out of bed in the morning to go to work, I'll just say, I don't like this job, I'm quitting. And then I think there's men out there who have that experience all day, every day, up until they're 70 years old, and think if they don't go to work, kids don't eat. And there's women that experience that too. But the pressure on a man is completely different. Completely different.
What's going on YouTube? Is your boy Rome back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. So, do men have it harder in dating and in life than women do? Well, we're about to find out. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it.
If I had that mindset, you know how many girls would break my heart? Love is unconditional. Be with me, baby. I'll take you on an expensive date. Love is unconditional. We can't afford to have delusional fantasies like that. If I say, remember, she said it earlier, who takes more risk in a relationship, men or women? Men take more risk. So since I take more risk, who has to be more realistic? The man. I need to know how you guys think, what you guys do, etc. Because if I get with you and the relationship doesn't work, you could take half my money. You could take half my assets. You could take half my wealth. Yeah. So why the fuck am I going to sit here and think love is unconditional? That's the stupidest thing. Well, it's not.
Bible.
It's not. And as a matter of fact, the stats show that it's not. You guys lead the divorces. You guys take half the money. Alimony's paid 90% of the time to women. So for a man to think love is unconditional puts us in a situation where we can lose everything. You can think that because you guys got nothing to lose a lot of the times besides time and maybe a body count. But what we lose is way worse. Our life gets completely ruined. Some simp will still take you even if you're a whore.
Yeah.
I will not get a chick unless I got my shit together.
That's facts.
So
That is a fact.
That is a fact. Yes, sir.
Notice how when Myron said, hey, like y'all can be 304s and there'll still be a man that come to save you. But if I don't got my shit together, ain't none of y'all gonna fuck with me. You notice how quick and strong they were to agree with that? That in itself, just the response from the ladies in itself screams that men can't be in that delusional mindset thinking that everything is unconditional for them. Just that response alone tells you. Let's keep it moving.
My dad raised me to understand that men play chess and women play checkers, so that they have a completely different line of thinking than women do. I didn't really used to understand what he was talking about, but as I got older I did, and especially the last couple of years, I see in real time every day men creating circumstances for things that women don't see, whether it be positive or negative. And men are meant to do that, he said, because they are the leaders in the home. So they're supposed to create the circumstances for their family's success. And they do that by chess. And it happens completely unbeknownst to women because we just don't think in that way. And that's a good thing. They have a very strong ability to compartmentalize, and so that they can keep going in difficult situations and hardships that chisel them rather than cripple women, right?
That's unacceptable for men
men to like women's pictures on Instagram, why is it acceptable for us to have OnlyFans and he's insecure if he doesn't like it? Why do we still claim that women are more oppressed than men when, by majority of society standards, we do not have to be barefoot and pregnant, but men still have to be in the same gender roles that they were stuck in 100 years ago? If pharmaceutical companies really cared about equality for women as much as they say they do every year when they put on their $1 million fundraisers, how come they still haven't come up with a birth control for men that's effective and doesn't give them intense suicidal ideation, therefore taking all the pressure off of us and giving men right to their own autonomy? If we use the logic children deserve to have a father when we force men into unplanned parenthood, why don't we use that same logic when we're alienating them from their own children?
Now, I want to chime in on a couple points that she made, especially the first one, because I kind of just experienced this on Facebook. There was a woman that had posted, she said, thank you, Chris Brown, Michael Eli, and Usher for showing us how insecure you men can be. Because, you know, Usher hugging Alicia Keys, Eli hugging Megan Good, and everybody knows what's been going on with Chris Brown. And I responded, thank you for showing us that you expect us to take this kind of disrespect. And I find it funny because y'all are the same women that don't even want a man liking other women's pictures on social media. But how dare you sit over here and expect men to accept this? Bro, that comment has like damn near 500 likes, 500 reactions. That comment has the most reactions out of that whole thread of comments. Like, my Facebook was blowing up. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So that right there lets you know that I'm speaking facts, because a lot of brothers was agreeing with that sentiment. Now, I say this all the time, the second point that she had mentioned. Bro, I always found it very, very hypocritical for women to come on these platforms and sit over here and say, men need to be providers and protectors and what have you. It's like, how can we sit over here and progress as a society when only one gender can decide whether or not they still want to be traditional? If you're gonna sit over here and still hold men to a traditional standard while women no longer have to, then you can add that to the list of reasons why men don't feel incentivized to get married alone. You don't even gotta include the family courts. Just that in itself is making men not even want to get married. Hell, not even making them want to date. Let's keep it moving.
A recent study from the Family Court Coalition says that about 20% of male suicides are associated with relationship breakdown and loss of their children. In 2020, 36,551 American men committed suicide. If we take that approximate 20%, that means that 7,300 men took their lives because of a relationship breakdown and loss of their children. Every day on this app, we have feminists screaming and yelling at the top of their lungs about safety for women and girls. We have them screaming about the number of women that are unalived annually in our country. In 2020, 3,573 women and girls were murdered. That is an absolutely appalling number. One person being murdered is too many. If the numbers from this study are correct, that means that a man is 2.04 times more likely to commit suicide than a woman is to be murdered. And yet you don't hear feminists talking about the issues in the family court. We don't hear them screaming about the bias in the family court. If anything, we see them dismissing it or blaming it on the actions of the man and not taking this problem seriously. When do we get to the point where we realize that one of these problems is not more important than the other? We need to look at the rate in which women are murdered, but we also need to look at the disparity in the family courts that is directly related to men losing their children and taking their lives. Both of these are important. When do we get to the point where we start showing compassion and work together to keep people alive?
We figure it out. Men are actually men are super simple, women are very complicated. Men, as long as we feel appreciated, we feel noticed, and we feel special, and we see our role and our purpose, we will go to the ends of the earth to feed our family. We'll figure it out. And I think we're underselling American men. Imagine no one has a problem if the war got really crazy for men being drafted, right?
I mean, just historically,
right.
men have always been drafted.
So then, for those of you that said you were feminists, do you see any inconsistency between saying that you want equality, but you're cool with sending men to run to protect your society? Does anyone wrestle with that?
How do you reconcile that? Yeah.
I didn't say I was a feminist.
No, I
but
know, but
this is
some
definitely
did.
mental gymnastics, right?
No, but what I'm getting at though is that it's easy, and I know that you have all been so polite, but let's just dive right into it. It's easy at times to bash the patriarchy. Taylor Swift just today was one of her songs, F the patriarchy, and everyone in the concert screams that, right? But she says it like a rallying cry, F the patriarchy. When it comes down to it, it's like you're cool throwing men to the front lines of war, but not yourself.
Why?
If guys want girls to be virtuous, then they need to hold themselves to the same standard.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like an equal 1-to-1 proportion. I would argue that there's more women engaging in promiscuity than there are men. What I think is happening is you'll have, for example, the top 10% of men that are hyper promiscuous. And those guys will have body counts of over 100. Mm-hmm. And then you'll have a larger proportion of women that have, for example, 30, 40, 50 body counts. Mm-hmm. And then you'll have a huge subset of men that have zero access or minimal access to hookup culture. Mm-hmm. Any woman could be a slut. Not every man can be a slut. Okay. Say 50% of women that are engaging in this promiscuity, and it's 10% of men that are enabling it. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't the blame be on the larger cohort of people that is sort of perpetuating this?
Okay, sure.
Okay, checkmate, cool.
A little tip, you guys. Whenever you see women getting real silent like that, you've basically won the argument. That's just them trying to find some way to try to turn it and flip it on you. And I swear, sometimes I wish these women that come on these panels, I wish they would just learn how to take their L and go home. Like, Jesus Christ, you're not going to be right all the time. I'm sorry, but you're not. Let's keep it moving. And everything ain't men's fault all the time either. Let's keep it moving.
To her point, I once had a niece on her 18th birthday. She said maturing is realizing you don't need a man. That's when her father and I looked at each other in disgust. Later that night, 2 robbers broke into the house and threatened to kidnap her. That's when she screamed and pleaded for her father and I to come save her. That's when we took off our hat and showed that we were actually the robbers.
Oh my God!
But my niece learned a very big lesson that night. Now she hasn't spoken to us since then, but a lot of that is because I think she's just too embarrassed to admit she was wrong. And ladies, this is for y'all. This is Alpha King rule number 344. Women don't need a man, but statistics have shown if they don't have one, they become bitter, overweight, and they're more likely to be kidnapped.
Take it!
Well, hopefully she'll end up talking to you one day, but I'm going to let you know right now, that right there lets you know she has been brainwashed by feminism. Because the fact that you proved her wrong within that same day, and she no longer speaking to y'all, that right there lets you know that she runs away from accountability. Yeah, ain't nothing mature about that. Let's keep it moving.
All the power goes to the top tier men. Because now all women have the same set of standards. Over 6 foot, a height preference, a race preference, and an income preference, a man of status, a charisma preference too. You want your man to be charismatic and make you feel the vibes. Only 20% of the population makes $100,000 a year. Only 15% of the population is 6 foot or above. So the stats is very low for the guys that you want. So what it does is that when a man works on himself and becomes a valuable man, he has so many options in a dating pool. So why be monogamous? I could sleep with all these girls and just enact in my natural proclivity ways. So all those men, they have all the power in the dating market because guess what? All of you ladies want those men. But that's why most women say that, oh, all men are crap. No, just those that you want, they have options and you ain't the first option.
And then not only that, the men that are not in that top 20, top 15%, even when y'all do give those men a chance, y'all are making those men work 2, 3, 4, 5 times harder to get the same end result as those top 20, 15% men, because deep down, y'all know those are the men that have all the options, because y'all know all of y'all want them, and y'all know there's far more of y'all than there are of them. And hell, out of that 15 to 20%, how many of them are single? I mean, he just said so himself. When those men reach that kind of status, they don't have to be loyal. I'm like, there's a lot of women that will put up with those men simply because they know that other women want them, especially if it involves any kind of financial stability or any kind of like serious wealth. Try to tell me that women have it harder than men in terms of dating when it comes to that. Yeah, let's keep it moving.
More loyal, men or women?
I think men, if they are in love.
Why do you think so?
Because women often are searching for missing things in their life in other men. If men are in love, they're giving everything to women.
Did you know that women file for divorce 70% of the time? And did you know that most of those divorces are associated with a major life event, like the husband losing his job or dealing with a mental health crisis? That is a fact. They are not loyal to you. The people in your life keep you around because of one thing, and that is what you are able to provide. And at the end of the day, no one's going to take care of you but you. And the thing is, I don't get mad at the weatherman for telling me that it's going to rain tomorrow. And I don't get mad at the rain because it's raining. You don't resent your wife and your kids because they're not loyal to you. That's just a fact of life. You just accept that fact and adjust accordingly. And the adjustment that you need to make is that if I don't take care of me, no one's going to take care of me. And the only way that you're going to put you first is by first accepting the fact that it's you who put you where you are. It's not a bad thing to take care of yourself.
Now, I wanted to leave you guys with this post that I came across on Facebook. It says, men help women more than men. Women help women more than men. Society helps women more than men. No one's got your back. Remember that. So I don't ever want to hear a woman sit over here and saying y'all got it harder than men when men literally have no safety net. Meanwhile, y'all got all the safety nets in the world and y'all still complain. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification. That way y'all know what I'm uploading. Hit the like button because that's with the algorithm and helps me reach a broader audience. Also, look out for the travel vlog channel, Unplugged Traveler. Link is in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.